Good afternoon and welcome to another week in our garden. It's been very overcast all day, and as soon as we've come into this greenhouse, believe it or not, the sun's come out. So it's quite warm in here. What I'm going to start with is removing some of the bottom leaves from my tomatoes and the cucumbers. I'll show you the ones I've done, and then I'll show you the ones we're going to do. These are the ones I've actually done, those 4, but as you can see now I can water them. I can actually top the pots up as well with a bit of compost and take the weeds out now. If you look over there, you can see I can't really see the top of the pots. A lot of the water hits the leaves and comes off the pot, so if we clean them off, it makes life easier. We'll start with this one. We'll do the tomatoes and then we'll do the bottom of the cucumber as well. So it's just a case of getting in. Now I'm using secateurs because if you just grab one of these and pull it, there's every chance that you'll tear the stem, and we don't want that because then you start to get your disease in, etc. So cut them off if you can. I could usually take them off to the first fruit, but if, like this one, the first fruit is a bit high, I might just leave an odd one on. But I'll show you. Now this leaf here, I don't know if you can see that, but it is actually broken, look, just there. So we'll take that off anyway. And if I remove half of that one, that will give us a nice clear bottom to water. It will make the feeding, etc. easier as well. I'll be able to see what I'm doing. Just do this one here and then I'll do the others and show you it all done. So it's just a case of getting in there and taking them off. It looks a bit drastic, but they seem to get over it. And you also find that they put some more fruit on at the top once you've done this. Right, we'll take that one. That'll do that one. So I'll do these other 3 and come back to you. I've done the tomatoes. I just take some of the weeds off now as well. Couldn't really see the weeds before. Looks a lot better. Looking at them, I can see there's 1 or 2 nearly ready for picking. As you can see, the cucumbers are nearly taking over here. We're going to have to sort something out. So I shall remove some of the bottom leaves, and I've brought these 2 canes, and I shall put these 2 canes at the top, then train the cucumber along and then along the top of the tomatoes, so I can get cucumber all the way down the greenhouse. A lot of growth on them that we could actually train over, so we'll sort that out in a short while. So it's like as this, look, where this leave's broken, you just take those off as you go. Before I start cutting, if you just look, there's loads and loads of cucumbers still coming. I can see that one's nearly ready. There's another one there nearly ready, and over this side there's one definitely ready there, look, and another one hanging down the back. Now when I've cleaned the bottom off, we'll be able to see what cucumbers we've got down there as well. And also Gemma's coming tomorrow, so she'll take a few home with her. Now it's a case of following them back and cutting them off. I'll just throw them down for now, but if you can see, these that are at the very bottom and turning yellow, we need to get them out anyway. a lot of them will just break off, but it's not good to break them. These leaves that here, look, that's broken. There's a runner coming off there, very low down, so I'm actually going to take that. This leaf will come off as well, and that one. Can you see how we've opened that up now? If you look in here, look, these leaves here, they're never going to develop in this middle, so, and they're all screwed up. So if we can carefully take them out, it'll let the air and light in onto those others. There's another runner here, look. There's nothing on it, so we'll take that out. And that leaf as well. I'm happy with that. Now to do the same there and there, won't take long. I mean, you could, if you wanted, just let them go. But this way, you can see, looking at the pots, that wants quite a bit of compost putting on it to top it right up again. Because over time, once you've planted them, the compost seems to shrink back, so I always top it up. I'll finish off and then I'll show you it done. I'm just going to clip these to these canes to get them out of the way more than anything, but they need to be up here out the way, so they'll start going across. There you are. They'll sort themselves out and start going over. As you can see, this one is just falling down anyway, so we'll take that over and fasten that on as well, if I can get there with the machine. That's it, it's got there. What I will do is, when I go down to the shed, I'll bring probably a cable tie or two up and make sure that's firm on there, so that they can grow along. And I think they'll get all the way across. If we can keep up the watering and feeding, these fem spot are very, very strong growers. I've done all the tomatoes and cucumbers, so I've got nice clear pots, and I've actually just watered them. And you know, it's a lot easier without all that foliage in the way. What I need to do now is get some compost up here and a little bit of bloodfish and bone to scatter on the pot tops before I put the compost on, and a little bit of chalk just to scratch on top, and then that's enough for these to then finish. Now let's go down, because I do believe we need to get the tops off those broad beans. While we're passing the compost bins, I actually transferred from the centre bin to the end bin this morning of the compost that's nearly ready. So I'll show you the progress of the compost. If you can remember, it was some time ago, although not that long ago really, we actually turned it into the second bin. Now today we've turned it into the third bin, and it's nearly ready. Now, as you can see, it's not far off. There's a little bit of wood in it, but that'll soon rot down once we get it on the garden. That's nearly there. It looks, as you can see, it looks a very good compost now, it is. And that's all what we've made. Now, if I can get the first bin full and then transfer it to the second bin by turning it into the bin, that should actually fill this bin ready for the spring to use on the garden. I like to use the compost we make on the soft fruit. I don't like to put manure in that on the soft fruit. So this will probably go towards the new strawberry bed we're going to develop this year. Now, these are the broad beans we've grown. They're doing quite well, not quite ready yet, but the blackfly will be starting soon on these tops. It's already on this one, look. Can you see? It's already there. That will actually swamp the top of the broad bean. So I'll just take that one off a little bit lower. So these that aren't got blackfly on, we take the tops off, so there's really nowhere for the blackfly to go, so they don't do such a bad job. If you don't, they make such a mess, and obviously all the mess from the blackfly starts to drop down onto your crop, which actually goes mildew and etc., and you'll lose these crops at the bottom. So big or small, cut the tops off. This one here is very low, but it's coming off. Even though there was only that one showing, there won't be long before they're on all these if you don't cut the tops off. I do believe that's it. I only had a few to do. I did some earlier on. The top, you can still get some on these stands, but obviously not so bad as if they was full on. Broad beans coming along nicely. As you can see, they're quite tall, but I made sure I bought the ones that only got to 2 feet high this year, so I didn't have this problem. Now I fetched the coffee grounds earlier in the week, and I put them through the screen, and now I'm going to put them onto some celery that was planted late. This is the coffee grounds once they've been screened. As you can see, if you like coffee, they smell nice. I'm a tea belly myself, so let's go and put them on. Now this is the plot that had the garlic in. If you can remember, it was terrible rust on it, so I had no more to do. I think it was the end of last week. No more to do. I cut the tops off, put them on the incinerator, and I dug the bulbs up, and I've got them at the back of the shed there drying, so I'll show you those in a moment. There's some shallots there that are nearly ready for lifting, but the ones at the far end were nearly dried out, so I lifted those as well, and I'll leave those just to dry out a little more, and then if it's a nice day I'll dig them up. Now this is the extra celery we had down in the frame, so I thought I'd pop it in here. I will put the cover back on as soon as I've lifted those onions. What I like to do is put the coffee grounds around each plant and to stop the slugs coming through. And it seems to work, but obviously that leaf that's laid on the surface, that will get slugs in. I spread it round each plant and it stops the slugs, and it seems to work, so I've carried on doing it. And being that I get this amount of coffee every week, in fact there's perhaps a little bit more than that, there's still some in the shed. If I'm getting that free every week, I may as well put it on and try it. So all I do is hold the plant and sprinkle it round. Make sure there's no breaks in it, else the slugs will go through that as a passageway to your plant. There you are, look. I'll do another one or two just to show you. Just put it round, and I find that even when it rains it stays intact, so it's quite good. And then it eventually digs into the soil anyway and gives the soil a nice colour. I'll do this little one at the end so you can see more done. There's a bit more on that one, look. There you are. I'll do the rest and then I'll show you it done. So now that's that celery nicely circled with the coffee grounds. And now hopefully we won't have any slug problem. While we're here, we'll just show you the progress on the cherry tree. And these are morello cherries, but they are coming through quite nicely. If we didn't put the net on, we wouldn't have a cherry on there now. They would have stripped the lot. Absolutely loaded this year, very pleased with that. I think we'll probably be harvesting these sort of midweek, but we will film to show you what we get off it. But as I say, they are morello, they're not sweet cherries, but they are cropping very well. Now Diane has asked me to lift 2 or 3 of these beetroot so she can roast them and we can have those for tea with our salad. So we'll get in there and lift some. There you are, look, very good size that is. Remember, when you take these, don't cut them or break them off right down there. Get them like that and just twist them off. You can eat the leaves, but it looks like we've had somebody eating them already, look. What I normally do, I twist the tops off and give them straight to the chickens while they're turrid, and they will eat them. If they get flat, they tend not to, but if you give them straight away, they love them. This one definitely. Obviously try to lift them without damaging the roots. If you damage the root there, they'll bleed anyway. And then same again, let me have a look at the top. Yeah, and there's something's been having a go, look. But you could actually eat the centre ones, which are very nice. But Diane's pulling her face, I don't think she'll eat those. One more then, go. Those on that side are the long ones, they're not quite ready yet, look. This one's got a bit of a split in it, look, but it's a healed split, so that'll be perfectly alright. Again, this will go for the chickens, not so bad down there. Right, we're just going to pop down to the bottom greenhouse and we'll see if we've got any carrots ready in that trough. While we're passing, I just noticed we got 1 or 2 courgettes ready, so we'll take those. Now I just noticed that the dwarf early peas are just filling up nicely now, so it'll be another week I think, then we'll take those as well. We'll harvest that by removing the whole lot and doing it that way. They're very bright yellow, and I think the corn. Now there was a label here somewhere, but I can't see it. But they're called lemon something, but I will find out and put it on for you. But they are very bright yellow. I don't think there's any more. They are 2 lovely bright yellow courgettes. Now these are more or less the first 2. When we get too many, we'll do some nice cakes with them. While we're passing, as you can see, the tomatoes are going from strength to strength. These are the plum ones, and the far ones are the Crimson Crush. I don't know if you can see from here, but the Crimson Crush, I have removed the bottom leaves, it makes watering a lot easier. Now we're going to take a few more of the carrots that we've grown in that trough in the greenhouse, and they've grown well in there. In fact, they've grown better in there what they do in this land, but we need now to pull a few. We've had some already, but we need a few more because they're young and clean. Absolutely stunning on your salads. These were early carrots and I started them in the greenhouse, but obviously as it got warmer I had to bring them out. They're quite congested, so I'll just take an handful. Can you see, look, they're quite congested in there, but for what we want they're absolutely ideal. As you can see, they're just ideal for what we want. Most of these will actually go into the coleslaw, so you can imagine the taste of them. Now that's enough for what we want for now. I should cover the rest up, park them round the corner in the shade, and then we're going to have a look at that radish to see if that's ready. Can you remember when we cleaned the rhubarb off, took all the horrible leaves out, we fed it and I've watered it well, and as you can see within 2 weeks now it is nearly back up to strength again. I've grown the radishes, or trying to, in these troughs because out in the garden I put them in and everything wants to come and eat them, so I thought I'd try some in these short troughs. They're only 2-foot troughs, but I notice there's quite a few worth pulling, and these are lovely and clean. They're certainly better than what we can grow out there in the garden, so I shall pick a handful. The back line has only just been set, so that's not ready yet, but the front lot should be ready soon, or if not now. So I see what I can get, and then I shall set another trough now because this works very well. And you can see these are called sparkler with that white bottom. You have to be a little bit selective, but we can get a handful, I'm sure. We'll wash them up at the tank. Alright, we'll have a look at this end. As you can see, look, there's quite a few there. Can you see them? Quite a few there to take, so we'll take those. You just have to be careful so you don't pull them all out, because there's some still coming, obviously. That'll be enough for now, but I need to cover up what I've exposed. We've just noticed that the spring onions are ready as well, so we'll lift a few of those. They stand very straight and they make a lovely onion. They're beginning to bulb a little bit, but that helps with the spring onion. Now we'll take this one at the end. I hope you can see it. It's behind that timber, but I'm sure you will. They look lovely on there. Let's just loosen it with this hand fork. And remember, when we get them to the tank, we'll put the water on it and they'll release each other then. I'll just take a bit of that so it's actually full of worms. Go on, worm, get to work. Down there. I did pick cucumber and lettuce yesterday, and raspberries. Strawberries weren't quite ready because we didn't have a lot of sun, but they're already in the house. They are as typical of guardsmen, a good straight top and lovely bottom nut. And you can eat as much as that as you want now. You can eat it right up there. Look at it, it's clean as a whistle. Now this is the garlic I was telling you about. It was so bad I just cut the tops off and burnt them, and I've salvaged the bulbs, and they're drying nicely now, nice and firm. You must remember though, when you're doing your garlic and harvesting it, be careful not to bruise them, because if you bruise them they won't keep. These are though a few of those shallots that are at the end of that bed that are more or less finished, so I've lifted those and we'll just let those dry in the sun as well. They look okay. Oh, we don't want to leave them in the ground if they're ready, because they'll start and rot at the bottom. Likewise your garlic, if it's ready and you don't dig it up, it will start sprutting from these corms here and spoil your bulb. Now that'll be it for this week. I hope you've enjoyed it, but I just need to tell you that from next week we need to be looking at getting the brassicas ready for winter. So we need to get that seed together and then we can get it in, and then as the ground comes available down the garden we can backfill with the brassicas ready for winter, and we will need them. So that's next week. Thank you for watching and thank you for subscribing, we do appreciate it. Now take care everyone, and we'll see you next week. Bye now.